Hey, my name's Ryan Pedde, and I'm a pastor and church planter in Alberta, Canada. And it was about half a dozen years ago that the church I was serving in was going through the Church Renewal Lab. And part of that is the More and Better Conference in Port St. Lucie, Florida. And so my lead pastor said to me, Ryan, I want to take you down to this conference. It's amazing. And I agreed. I said, okay, I'll go. And I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen, right? I might learn something new, and we live in northern Canada in a place without a lot of sunshine, so I'll even get some sunshine in the process. And so we headed down to Florida, and the conference exceeded all of my expectations. It was unlike any church conference I'd ever been to before. I know it's cliche to say, this conference changed my life. Sometimes we throw around that phrase a little too much. But the truth is that the More and Better Conference did change my life, and it changed my ministry forever. I began to realize that my preaching could be much more gospel-centered, and I was invited into a vision for discipleship that was more than just leading people into a relationship with Jesus, but also creating an intentional discipleship pathway where new believers and longtime believers grew as disciples who made disciples, who made disciples. So fast forward to 2018. My wife Jessica and our kids and I, we moved to Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. And we were tasked with planting a new Christian Reformed church. Fort Saskatchewan's about 40,000 people. The town had doubled in size. And we began by preaching the gospel in our living room, making disciples who made disciples, who made disciples. And we went from a living room to a community center. From a community center, COVID hit. And at the peak of COVID hysteria, we held drive-in services where people could worship in their cars. And this led to making new disciples, led to tons of baptisms, and to the place that we're at today. Before planting Bridge Church, Jessica and I had been to Bible college. I went to seminary. We spent about 10 years working in the church. And when it came to church planting, I read books on church planting and talked to people who had been successful planting churches. But the single greatest training that I ever received for evangelism and church growth has been a product of the Center for Church Renewal. That's why I encourage as many pastors as I can and as many congregations as I can to go through Renewal Labs. It leads to mission-focused congregations that make more and better disciples. And so your support for the Center for Church Renewal and Church Renewal Labs is a blessing and will lead to more and better disciples all over North America. Thank you.